if you just do it, it will turn out okay. Hey everyone, it's Identity here, and I'm here with a budding movie star, writer, director, producer, Eric.
Mm-hmm. So it was something that was on my bucket list for the longest time. I was wanting to get a feature-length movie made. There were numerous attempts before, but then this one finally actually happened. The movie's called Things That Pissed Me Off, Dinosaur Deniers, the movie. Pretty much, it's a parody of Avengers Infinity War, but rather than the snap turning people into dust, I thought it would be funny, well, what if instead, if it turns people into deniers of dinosaurs instead? So yeah, it's something that I star in, direct, edit, produced. I wrote the script, and there are a lot of cameos in it, like Tony Reed from How Creation Is of Tommy Real Science makes a cameo, on Raw, Dapper Dino. Excuse me, yeah, there was a lot of cameos in there, and if anybody wants it on DVD, you can just find me on Facebook, send me a message, and if anybody's in the Montana area, there actually will be a screening for my movie at Montana State University Billings on the main campus on October 6th at 5:30 p.m. And the cool thing about the screening, it will be a special screening because for the version of the movie that's going to be played there, I actually will be putting back in a deleted scene.
Ooh,
so yeah,
nice. So that'd be like the director's cut version?
Yeah. Pretty much.
Have you made a commentary edition yet? Like in some movies they have the director's commentary.
I haven't yet, but I definitely would be willing to, though.
Awesome. But speaking of deniers,
yeah,
some people even deny this thing that happened sometimes.
And that really pisses me off. That there's people who think it was an inside job, and that pisses me off because people legitimately lost their lives, and that's just a huge slap in the face to all the people who died, and that's the message of my movie. Whenever there's evidence in front of you, whether if it's the existence of dinosaurs or whatever, don't betray your intellect about it.
I agree. So, where were you that day? Not 20 years ago.
Boy. I can't believe that was 20 years ago now. But I was in second grade. I was extremely young. I remember I was watching it on the TV with my mom. My mom, she had that look on her face I will never forget. It was so many emotions into one, but they weren't good ones, of course, because,
So you weren't in school that day?
Not that I remember. Let me look on what day of the week.
So it's on Tuesday. I'm pretty sure it was on Tuesday.
All right, let's scroll way back. Yes, it was. It was on a Tuesday, okay? I honestly remember nothing about school, but what I do remember was watching on the TV with my mom. She might have had me stay home because 9/11 did happen during around the morning on.
Yeah, about 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock.
So in that case, yeah, she might have had me stay home from school that day, which a lot of people did.
Or maybe you were sick beforehand.
Maybe. I don't remember being sick.
Well, actually, you're more. Maybe it's true. You are more. You're like mountain time. So
yeah.
So you're 2 hours behind. So maybe your 9 o'clock is different from my 9 o'clock. So it would have been 7 o'clock for you. So yeah, that makes sense then.
Yeah. I totally did forget about the time difference, but I mean, regardless, I definitely remember watching on TV with my mom. Just the look on her face is a look I will never forget. I mean, she had a look of disgust, sadness, shock, anger, all that all rolled into one. And what I do remember, because I was so young, I didn't understand what was going on. Me being young and naive, I actually thought that it was Godzilla.
Wow.
Oh man, I guess you could say I was right in a metaphorical sense, that metaphorically it was a monster.
Yeah.
But then, I mean, of course, the teachers are not going to tell a bunch of second graders that, like that a bunch of innocent people like were brutally murdered. So they had to sugarcoat it a lot. So that's why for the longest time, I didn't really understand what was going on because I was so young at that time.
Yeah.
But it wasn't until later on was when when my parents felt like I was old enough to know.
Yeah, I was well for me. Either luckily or unluckily, this hadn't been my first travesty. I was in kindergarten when the when Challenger happened. I was in ninth grade when the Oklahoma building happened, and I was like 21. I was 21 then when 9/11 happened. So,
boy,
and I remember like the first time that the same people tried to bomb it with a truck 10 years earlier, like in 92 or something. I think it was 91. They tried to bomb the parking garage of the same building.
Yikes! And so, because I was so young, I never was properly educated as to why the terrorists did it in the first place. So, I mean, obviously, they're wanting to kill people, but do you know what their true agenda was?
Just basically religious fundamentalism, but instead of Christians, it was Islam.
So, so pretty much they were just trying to follow their interpretation of their holy books.
Yeah, and I'm paraphrasing here. I think it's been 20 years. That America sides with Israel, so they're evil. I get the exact details, but it's some could be this. It's like I can't think. Like, but basically, I can't really get into their minds. We're not them, but that's
Okay, right.
Everyone was told. That's what they might have said at the time too.
So pretty much from my understanding, it was because of religious fundamentalism.
Possibly, yeah, probably. I can't, like I said, I'm not 100%. I can't say that with 100% certainty.
All right, maybe I can look
But
that up then.
but I remember what I was doing that day. It was before I started working at McDonald's. So at that time, at 9 o'clock every day, I watched the Regis and Kelly show. So that Tuesday, I turned on to watch it, but it was interrupted by a news program about a plane crossing the building, and at that time, me, everyone else probably might have thought one plane in the plane might have been an accident, right? One plane crossing could be an accident. We don't know, but then we hear about now. So I told my dad about it. He said, okay. Then all of a sudden, another plane crosses into the Pentagon, and another plane goes into the other tower, and that's when you realize this is no accident. One plane could be an accident. Two or three,
yeah, that's no coincidence. Absolutely not. Okay, so according to 911memorial.org, I'm pretty sure it's a reliable source. Why did the terrorists attack the World Trade Center and the Pentagon? The terrorists did not have the capacity to destroy the United States military, so they set their sights on symbolic targets instead. The Twin Towers, as the centerpiece of the World Trade Center, symbolize globalization and the America's economic power and prosperity. The Pentagon, as the headquarters for the U.S. Department of Defense, serves as a symbol of American military power. It is thought that Flight 93 was heading to the Capitol building the center of American legislative government, Al Qaeda. Okay, I'm gonna try to pronounce this.
Al Qaeda.
Yeah. Hope that by attacking these symbols of American power, they would promote widespread fear throughout the country and severely weaken the United States standing in the world community, ultimately supporting their political and religious goals in the Middle East and Muslim world. So yeah, you had it right. It was because of fundamentalism to their political and religious ideologies.
Oh yeah. So yeah.
Pretty much they're wanting to spread fear, and that's exactly what they got. Because I mean, of course, people are going to be freaking out, knowing that people are dying.
And after that, everything changed, and everything is pre 9/11 and post 9/11. Everything is different now.
I mean, nowadays airports are a lot more. They're way more strict now, and that's one thing that I definitely remember. I remember before 9/11, I remember that you didn't have to go through that long segment.
Oh yeah. I remember in '99, I flew by myself to LA to see Boy Meets World, the show.
Right.
I actually met some people online, got tickets to see it, and we all went together. I got to the airport like 15 minutes before my flight took off. I got to the plane and no time at all. Got there, went straight to the plane. Like maybe 30 to 15 minutes before the plane took off. Got there. I went to see my new niece earlier this month, and we're leaving. We got to the airport an hour and a half before our flight was supposed to take off, and we got to the plane just in time.
Yeah, and now because of security, it's going to take you a lot longer. But of course, it's completely justified after 9/11. It's completely justified, and I mean, no one's going to argue against that now. Which, I mean, of course, there is no way that they're ever going to let you bring a weapon on now, especially after that, because of course, they don't want something like that to happen ever again, which even goes back to the Titanic. Ironically enough, RJ, who's supposed to be here, did a debate about that. So yeah, the primary reason why so many people died on that ship because they did not have enough lifeboats. But then afterwards, it was forced to be a requirement that regardless how big your ego is, you have to have enough lifeboats. And even now, after after 9/11, you are forced to go through security at the airport, just to make sure that you're not going to pull off what those terrorists did.
Yeah, I recently had to get a new ID because starting next year, all IDs have to have this little, when you're flying, have to have this little federal thing now.
I did renew my driver's license this year, so I wonder if mine has that now. I wonder.
Like a star thing, I guess. It's for federal identification. I think it's some kind of star thing.
I don't see one on mine.
I don't know. I think it's mainly if we're going to be flying. I'm not sure, but
okay.
I'm not sure. I don't know the details, but it's some kind of new law that they have that you have some federal ID if you're flying.
But yeah, and not only that, movies got impacted too. Like I remember for the original Tobey Maguire, Sam Raimi Spider-Man movie. In the first trailer, there actually was a scene that took place at the Twin Towers and whatnot. But I mean, unfortunately, after 9/11 happened, I don't have to go to work.
I'm glad you don't got it.
Yeah, me too. But anyways, for the original Spider-Man, I believe that even was supposed to be a scene like that took place at the Twin Towers, but after 9/11, they pretty much were forced to take it out. I mean, every movie like that took place in New York pretty much was forced to censor out the Twin Towers.
Yeah, I know they changed the for a long time. They after that they changed the Pokemon opening for a while too, because that one episode of the tentacle destroying towers, and a lot of stuff was dropped. Storylines and shows were dropped, whatever. After that happened.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of movies were heavily censored, especially they took place in New York. But yeah, I mean, and not just movies, but video games too. You mean Robert Pattinson?
Yeah.
What movie are you talking about? I don't remember any movie with Robert Pattinson having to be censored because of 9/11. I don't. Maybe if you could specify, but yeah. But yeah, and so from my understanding, that's why during the first Spider-Man movie, that's why that there's a scene of Spider-Man standing in front of the American flag. You know, it was because that happened right after 9/11 happened, and it was something that people needed to see at that time.
Yeah, and also what happened then is probably the opposite of what's happening now. For a little bit, all of them, I think most of America was united after that. Because they're really not right now, but a lot of Americans were united. Even my dad, who's not really a flag waving patriotic person especially back then, but he even posted even put a paper flag up on the window for a few weeks after that, and he wasn't even a patriotic person, but it got something about that just sparked it in him for at least temporarily.
All right, so he said it didn't have to be censored, but it was a romance movie that had nothing to do with it. But the ending, he's in the Twin Towers on 9/11. Oh boy. Oh boy, and yeah, and I remember my dad. My dad has worked for the government since 1989. My dad got really stressed out on that day and afterwards because of course my dad works for the government. So yeah, and then right afterwards there were some conspiracy theorists who were accusing. Get this, right after 9/11, there were some conspiracy theorists accusing him of hiding the existence of Bigfoot. And then my dad got frustrated because he felt like that they wasted his time because, of course, there's much more important things to worry at that time rather than the existence of some hairy creature that we don't have any evidence for. So yeah, so
what they thought Bigfoot did 9/11 or something, or what?
I don't know. Yeah, just if they did that would be the most absurd conspiracy theory about 9/11. But yeah, it seems like whenever there's a big event going on in the world, like the coronavirus, 9/11, Sandy Hook, whatever, there always has to be a conspiracy theory about that. Haven't you noticed that?
Yes.
Yeah, I've noticed that. Like with the Sandy Hook shooting, people were saying that none of the children actually died. But yeah,
or I've heard they didn't even exist in the first place.
Then that's and that's a huge slap in the face.
They were all actors performing a part.
But yeah, that one's extremely disrespectful, and even the ones about 9/11 itself, those are really disrespectful because all the people who died, and yeah, the venerable.
Not only in the plane crash, not only the plane crash itself, but after the rescue operation when the towers collapsed too.
Right, yeah, and just the fact that the towers are not there today. Like, there's a conspiracy theory saying that all the footage, they're all just CGI planes.
Well, they blew the towers themselves afterwards, and people people jumped from the. You see people jump from the buildings too.
Right, yeah, and and that there were witnesses there. and and the witnesses saw the bodies, and and then obviously they had to take the bodies away. I mean, that was really disturbing seeing those bodies because they probably thought, hey, it's either I die in the building or I die by jumping out.
Yeah, either die by fire or just and maybe die slowly by chasing or fire. Just go and splat. Yes.
Both sound horrible. But yeah, if you're afraid of heights, oh man, just to jump down.
Yeah, that would be me.
It just sounds so gruesome, just knowing the fact that you're gonna splat eventually. Ooh, that sounds gruesome. But yeah, and it is it really is because it's hard. Either choose, hey, burn to death or fall to your death. But yeah, just just the fact, 9/11 was an inside job, or that, that they put bombs in the buildings themselves. But I'm like, okay, if they're gonna put bombs in there, what's the point of even crashing a plane into it then?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I remember another thing they said was about the conspiracy was that that plane didn't have enough jet fuel, or whatever, to burn that building or burn the things, whatever. That plane wasn't big enough or small enough, whatever it was.
But I mean, when it's going that fast, crashing into it, it absolutely can. Yeah, it absolutely can if it's going that fast. Yes, it absolutely can. So yeah, that's absurd.
What else do you remember before or after this event? Well, how life was different here before and after.
I'm trying to remember. That was such a long time ago. I remember afterwards. They teach. Okay, you can see the moment the first tower that fell lost ability to hold the top. Well, yeah, it's because of how the plane crashed into it, and so then that totally refutes that there were bombs in the buildings already to make it seem like the plane crashed. But then in that case, like I said, what would even be the point to even crashing the plane into it? But yeah, so anyways, I remember that the teacher was drawing it on the whiteboard, trying to explain to us in a very sugar-coated way. But yeah, she pretty much, from what I remember, she left out that there are people inside. So yeah, I mean,
yeah, I'm not sure what the towers did. I guess it was some economic thing, but what they actually did in New York, but
yeah, it was because that she didn't want to get complaints from the parents. Yeah, I definitely do remember her drawing it on the whiteboard. I believe the day after or something like that. But yeah, oh man, everybody was talking about it, which I mean, of course, it's kind of hard not to. But yeah, it was easier said than done. But we gave the terrorists exactly what they wanted. But I mean, it was kind of hard not to, knowing that our country was attacked. My mom told me. Yeah, because I can't believe that was 20 years ago now. That makes me feel old. But yeah, I do remember when United 93, the movie came out. I wanted to see it in theaters, but my parents said no. And then I did finally see the movie. And from the movies I've seen about 9/11, it's the best one I've seen, but it's a hard movie to sit through.
yeah, I haven't seen that one yet. I did watch the Michael Moore documentary about it.
Yeah, I've been meaning to see it, but I have not seen it. I remember my family and I, we did see the World Trade Center movie with Nicolas Cage. Yeah, we did see that. To be honest with you, I thought United 93 was a better movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, it really helped me to put myself in the perspective of the people on Flight 93. Because, I mean, could you imagine just how horrible it would be, like to say to... Because I do remember back then, planes actually, you used to have a payphone on there. But yeah, I actually do remember that. And all the passengers on that plane would call their loved ones because they knew that they were going to die, because knowing that they wanted to say their last words to them before they died. And sorry, but I saw on a documentary, this one guy, he made sure to record like that voicemail that he got, and he made sure to keep it for the rest of his life. Like, he made copies of it on his computer. So yeah, I mean, could you imagine being in their shoes, just being, just receiving that voicemail or that call?
That was the plane that crashed in the Pennsylvania wilderness, right?
Yes, it was. Never made it to its target. Yeah, it was supposed to crash somewhere else. I believe in Washington, D.C. But then it was because the passengers decided to fight back, was why that it didn't crash there, and instead it crashed in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, I think after that, because of that, I don't know if it was before or not, but I think now, somewhere on all planes I think there's supposed to be like a federal agent or marshal now on all planes and disguised for something, maybe.
Yeah, that's completely understandable. I mean, that's completely justified after that. Completely justified. I mean, I have no arguments against that.
Oh, that's another thing. After that, we got a whole new secretary department of Security or whatever, NSA or whatever. I forget exactly what the department's called, but it was a new secretary added to the list of secretaries in the cabinet right after 9/11.
Yeah, I mean, it's an event that really changed the face of America forever. And one thing that makes me mad is how that some people will say, well, why do you care? You didn't know any of those people anyway. I'm like, well, the reason why that I care is because I actually have empathy. I actually have sympathy. I mean, regardless if you know them or not, just knowing that they went through something like that harsh is sad. Just try to put yourself into their shoes.
Yeah, I think that back the deniers and stuff, the people with the vaccine stuff, not connected, but kind of that's the same thing. Why do you care about? It's my why do you care about if I get the vaccine or not? Whatever, I don't care. Fine, you, but I care about you. I care about other people. I care. You may not get sick, but other people might get sick.
Right? Yeah, and that's why I got the vaccine. It's something that way. I won't get sick because I don't want to get sick, and it blows my mind that there actually were people when the pandemic first hit, and even now, saying that, oh, I don't care if I get sick. Really? So by that same logic, just go eat out of the garbage can. If you truly do not care about getting sick, just go do that.
Yeah, but it's not just like I said. It's not just you either. You can, unlike the garbage can, you can. It can't transfer. Maybe it can. I'm not sure, but the vaccine can jump from you to another person who might not be healthy as you are, quote unquote.
Right. Yeah, and that's also what I was going to get into. It's to protect both me and other people too, and especially when I lost my psychiatrist because of the coronavirus. I especially don't want to put somebody else, through that too. And it just saddens me that there are people who would rather believe in conspiracy theories rather than experts in said field. They will rather believe a politician rather than scientists or experts in the field. That would be like me saying, the next time I want dental care, I'm not going to call my dentist. I am then instead going to call a beggar at a grocery store. Makes no sense.
Yeah. Another thing, connecting the two together. It's funny. The same people now, kind of the opposite a little bit. The same people now who like, oh, we need all this extra security after 9/11. Some people were saying, oh, we need this government. We need all this government lockdown now. Stop the terrorists. These are the same people who are now saying the opposite. Oh, the government, like not to get political or anything. The government's like can't make me get a shot. The same people they're saying this opposite way when after 9/11 happened.
And and that's an argument that I hate when they say, "Oh, it's my choice." Yes, it is your choice, but do you want to know what else was somebody's choice? All those terrorists who then hijacked the planes and then killed people. Just because it was their choice doesn't automatically mean it's okay.
Yeah, it's also your choice to drink alcohol too. But if you get under a car when you're doing it, then
exactly, and it just seems like it's circular. It's an argument like that's circular. Oh, I'm doing it because it's my choice, and I'm doing it because it's my choice, and because it's my choice, I'm going to do it. They're not thinking about the consequences of it, and that's why I hate that argument so much. And I've heard it so much throughout my entire life, and I just wish that argument would just die. But just like with Kent Hovind and the Ica Stones and whatnot, it's just one of those things that just will not ever die.
Oh God. Oh.
But yeah,
yeah. I also had a friend at the time in the army, so I was worried about him having to do stuff. And another friend who actually worked at that airport in security at the time, he was off that day, luckily. But yeah, I had friends that worked with the airport. I had friends in the army at the time, so I was just all concerned. But
oh boy, yeah. Then I remember, because my dad worked for the government, in 2009, my dad actually had to go to Iraq for his work. We all were horrified for him because Osama bin Laden was from Iraq, and I believe.
I think he was from Saudi Arabia.
Then was it Saddam Hussein who was from Iraq?
Yeah, he's from Iraq, but I think it was found out he had nothing to do with 9/11. It was just that's a whole different story.
Okay, yeah, but yeah. And then I remember my dad gave me a $1 bill that had Osama bin Laden's face on it. And yeah, and it's kind of scary, knowing that it had his face on it, knowing how bad of a man that he was.
Yeah.
And then Saddam Hussein, he was killed in 2011, though, right?
Yeah, 10 years later.
Yeah, I believe that he was killed by a military.
I think it was Navy SEALs. I think it was Navy SEALs. I think was who got him.
But yeah, I remember seeing on Facebook this guy who I went to high school with named Bo. He posted on his Facebook saying that normally I try to be the guy that doesn't say stuff like this, but then he said, "Excuse my language. I'm glad the piece of shit's dead." And then I remember Jeremy Johns, who reviews a bunch of movies. He actually made a video celebrating his death. People were saying, "Oh, but he was a person too." And then he said, "Yeah, tell that to all the people's lives that he ruined." And I remember right after he died, I remember that back then, the teacher who had taught us all how to cook, excuse me, she used to play some songs and music. I asked her to play the song Celebration Time because the fact that Saddam Hussein got killed, and then she said no because he was a person too.
yeah. That's a whole bucket of worms right there. Because after 9/11, I think almost everyone, probably 99% of the people were for going to Afghanistan or Pakistan, wherever he was hiding at, to try to get him out. Everyone was for that. But then we a few years later, we had to go to Iraq. People were like, "Why are we going to Iraq for? Nothing to do with one another." But people that's when people got divided again, because like they're all for going after Bin Laden for 9/11, but then the Iraq one was like, "Why are we going here now?" It's like a whole bucket of worms, that one.
But yeah, I mean, I really can understand why people had a lot of resentment towards Saddam Hussein, because that
You mean Bin Laden?
yeah, Bin Laden, yeah, because he ruined a lot of people's lives.
People want to bomb Agrabah. That's another thing, right there. That's another thing about people not knowing science or history. They thought Agrabah was a real place. The city from Aladdin.
Yeah, and believe it or not, I did research. Aladdin is actually one of the most controversial movies ever made. It's because of Arabia. Unlike a Disney movie. But yeah, Passion of the Christ is on there too. But yeah, Serbian film. But now we're just getting off topic now. And then
we usually do. But
yeah, and then that's why that in South Park, like when they made fun of Saddam Hussein, saying that he's been having sex alike with Satan and whatnot, and that they're both gay. I mean, of course, Osama bin Laden probably got pissed about that, but a lot of us Americans, we actually were pretty pleased to see that, knowing everything that he put America through.
I think you're confusing Saddam with Bin Laden again.
Yeah, I mean, was it Saddam Hussein like that was in South Park? I could have sworn.
Yeah, he was, but he didn't really put America through anything. Actually, we were allied. Technically, we were allied both of them in the past against we were allied with Saddam against the Iranians for a while, and we were allied with Bin Laden and these people against the Soviets.
Okay, well, maybe I am confusing them, and if I am, sorry, but yeah. But yeah, so Osama bin Laden was 54 when he was killed. Gunshot wound. Yeah, and I also heard that they also killed his. Kids too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, from my understanding, they killed his kids. It was because of the fact that they didn't want to have his kids grow up, like to be like him, and then like to cause more problems. From my understanding, that was why.
Yeah, I remember. I don't know if it's true or not, but the rumor was that they evacuated Bin Laden's family, his family out of America after 9/11. The government did. That's a conspiracy or something. I don't know what it was.
And so, how exactly did they finally find him anyway?
I guess maybe someone, I don't know, maybe someone ratted on him or something. I might be on the net.
All right, let's do research. How did we finally find Osama bin Laden? But yeah, it took them 10 years to find him, but at least that they finally did.
Yeah, just probably hiding in the houses or caves. There's a lot of caves and houses, and a lot of people in that area that's loyal to them. Like, we were there for 20 years and nothing changed really, and we just left. And as soon as we left, it went back to the way it was.
Okay. But I mean, for him to hide for 10 years, that's, I hate to say it, that's kind of impressive. But at least he finally was found. But yeah, I remember everybody was glad to hear it on the TV that they finally found him and that he finally got killed.
Yeah, I think I heard about it watching a wrestling program. But oh God, what else is different? I don't know if it has anything to do. I don't know if the security is close to anything to do with the 9/11 or to do with all the school shootings, but like there's a lot of security in schools now too. Like I said, I don't know if that's because all the school shootings in the last 20 years or plus 9/11 or what. But you grew up in this. You grew up in the school security areas.
Yeah, I did. All right, I'm trying to find. All right, there's a lot to read here, but yeah, there's a lot to read, but yeah, the information is out there, but yeah, from my understanding, from what I read, he changed his name, but yeah, but for him, must have been pretty hard to do, and I see. Bayday left him comment saying Mark Wahlberg was supposed to be on Flight 11. Said he would have stopped it. But yeah, I can imagine he must have a lot of feelings about that because of inconsistent policy in Afghanistan. So it's because of the inconsistent policy is why that he finally was found?
No, I think it was because I think we're talking about why as soon as we left recently, America left. It went right back to the way it was before we got there 20 years ago.
Yeah.
How the Taliban came back to power immediately because nothing we did really made a difference in 20 years. We got Bin Laden, all we did was get him, but nothing we did there made a difference because I guess their culture is fundamentally full up with their religion that nothing.
So it was Osama bin Laden, though, like that did cause 9/11.
Yes.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So.
Yeah, I don't know which branch of Islam he was. I forget if he was Sunni or Shiite. I know Saddam was the opposite. I'm pretty sure that Saddam was the opposite branch of the Islam thing. Not positive about that, but I think they're opposite. They're on the opposite religious branches of the Islam tree. I forget which is which.
And I can imagine that because of 9/11, I can guarantee you that a lot of Americans started to have resentment towards that particular religion.
Yes, that's when a lot. That was their what now is the what was then was in the 50s the communists or Nazis, and what now is whatever there is now. But in the 20 years ago, it was Mexicans. It was the Islams. Everyone hates Arabs. Everyone hates Islam. It was that.
And I can see why, and especially considering that, knowing that because of their extremist views is why that a lot of families here in America, friendships got torn apart. All because of him. And oh boy, I mean, if you could put yourself into the shoes of the guy who killed Osama bin Laden, I mean, just knowing that this man right here that you're about to kill ruined so many people's lives.
I was wrong. They're both Sunnis.
But yeah, we certainly do appreciate being corrected. Like how I thought Bin Laden was from Iraq, but he actually was from Arabia. But he did live in Iraq, though, right? Even though he was born in Arabia.
He lived. he went to Pakistan or Afghanistan. I might be wrong. I think he's ever in Iraq, but I think he actually lived in America for a while.
Oh boy.
That's where they learned to fly the planes. They took flight schools in America.
Right, yeah, definitely. Oh boy. But yeah, if you were to put your shoes in the person who killed Osama bin Laden, what would your thoughts be?
My thoughts
Yes.
about now, say took me long enough, but I'm not a violent person, but
I try not to be either, but there are times where violence is not the answer. But sometimes though, words are just not enough, and sometimes people are too stubborn for their own good. And so, sometimes you have to smack some manners in to some people, and some people will never learn.
Yeah, like I can't believe how many, again off topic, but I can't believe how many people that I knew growing up. They say they aren't anti-vax, but they are. But they're anti-new-vax, whatever. And people, I grew up knowing they're like, I'm not getting the vaccine. I'm like, well, why? Because it's not. It's the same thing, kind of. They're like again, back to conspiracy thing. It's 9/11 or the vaccine or anything. It's just people you thought you knew, and you really don't know them at all. Kind of.
Pretty much, yeah. Like some of the people who I know that actually do believe 9/11 was an inside job, I feel ashamed that they think that way, because the evidence is so overwhelming that that America had nothing to do with the planning of 9/11. If that was the case, why did we try for 10 years to find Osama bin Laden? So what? So we did all that for nothing, just to waste our time?
Apparently,
that's what the 9/11 inside jobbers think. But yeah, and what I've noticed about most flat earthers, a lot of them believe more than one conspiracy theory, which I've done research on conspiracy theories. If you believe one, then you more than likely will believe in other ones too. Like with flat earthers, a lot of them believe dinosaurs did not ever exist.
yeah. I think Dr. Dan said it best. Once you go down one rabbit hole, it's not far as you go down to all of them.
Pretty much, yeah. Which makes me glad that when I used to be a young Earth creationist, I am glad that I didn't go down any other rabbit holes. But yeah, when I was a YEC, there were other conspiracies I used to believe. I used to believe that scientists were trying to hide the existence of God. I thought that they were trying to make us believe evolution and trying to hide, the true evidence of the young Earth and the dinosaurs coexisting.
But now a lot of scientists do believe in God. They just don't have him involved in their teachings, whatever.
Right? Yeah, exactly. One of the things that got me to stop thinking that was when I went to Museum of the Rockies when I was a young Earth creationist. I wanted to go just so I could see the dinosaurs. But then, so there actually is an exhibit there where you actually can see the scientists doing their job, and you actually can speak to them. And the scientists made it very, 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 very transparent to me. What they try to do is follow what the evidence says. So yeah, and I also used to believe that there was a conspiracy about the Loch Ness Monster. Nobody wanted the Loch Ness Monster to be real more than me. But then when I did further research on the Loch Ness Monster, it just became very, very clear that there is no evidence for it. But yeah, I thankfully was an anti-vaxxer. I never was a flat earther, although a lot of the flat earthers who I got into arguments with, a lot of them tried to convert me like to be a flat earther. Well, it's so funny. One of them said, "Oh, Eric, be skeptical of what you hear and research flat Earth." And then he was saying, and then I said, "Yeah, I did research flat Earth, and there's no evidence for it." And then he was saying that he got really offended by what I said, and I'm like, "Okay, and you're saying that I'm the biased one? No, you are the biased one." And then he was saying how. And I'm like, okay, you're saying to be skeptical about everything that I hear. Maybe you should apply that to you yourself. But yeah, there are some conspiracies that are rather kind of funny, like the flat Earth. But 9/11 being an inside job, that one pisses me off. And a lot of these conspiracy theorists, I've really noticed like the Dunning-Kruger effect, like where they think that they know everything that there is to know about it, rather than actually seeking out what the professionals say. Conspiracies are comforting to those people and make them feel more safe. Yeah, pretty much. It's because they have that confirmation bias. A lot of people have too much of an ego to admit that they were wrong.
Oh yeah, it's the same thing again with the vaccine. Yeah, a lot of people they're comparing getting the vaccine. I've seen people comparing getting the vaccine to Nazism.
That's a false equivocation.
Yeah, they had I saw a picture on Facebook where they had the swastika, but with vaccine needles on the end of them.
That's ridiculous.
And they're like, they're going to make us go in the concentration camps at this rate.
No, they're not. They just want you to be able to fight off the virus.
And I said, totally different subject. One, doesn't do the thing like the Jews were persecuted for thousands of years, hundreds, thousands, for centuries. This was just like the climax of it all. The time. They were second class citizens for years.
And I also heard a conspiracy saying that they invented the pandemic, just to promote their ideology about the 2020 election. And I'm like, okay, do you realize that a virus has nothing to do with an election? A virus has no idea what an election even is, nor do they care. Viruses viruses mutate because of natural selection. They don't mutate because of an election. And then guess what? After the election, we were still dealing with COVID, still am now.
Yeah.
So that conspiracy was ridiculous.
But yeah. But anyways, 20 years later, it's just
20 years later, and
some things have changed, some things were the same.
So yeah,
America's changed, but people in America, some people in America are the same as they always been, dumb and stupid.
This is why that I'm getting a proper education now, like with college. I'm just so ashamed by the lack of education in my own country, and that's the message of my movie. Don't betray. Yes, there it is. There was a copy of my movie on DVD. Things that piss me off. Dinosaur Deniers, the movie. But yeah, there's the copy of it on DVD. If any of you want the copy, just
if you want to see what goes on the conspiracy hole looks like, watch this movie.
And I've actually met people in real life who actually do deny the existence of dinosaurs. One of them is a special ed teacher, and that horrifies me. And she recently was at a gem and mineral picnic. She only was there because her husband is a part of it. And oh man, when I was trying to argue with her about dinosaurs, it seemed like this. And then finally, at the very end, I felt that I finally got her, because I said, okay, I know that you probably already accept that birds exist. So, and then I gave her pieces of evidence that birds are actually dinosaurs. Then after that, she had the look on her face as if she did not know what to say. So I'm hoping that that got through to her.
Yeah.
But yeah, the
Yeah,
one
like you said, there's some like your thing. Some people don't know, and some people don't want to know. I think there's a difference in two.
right, yeah, but it's like, why in the world would you want to be wrong about something? Wouldn't you rather be,
Yeah.
wouldn't you rather know the truth? I mean,
Yeah, and like I mentioned this. I mentioned this before, and with Erica and Tim and all the other people. Like sometimes we can admit when we are wrong. If we are wrong, we will admit it.
right, yeah, of course. And like, there have been times where I have been wrong, like how when I used to think scientists were trying to hide the existence of God, I thought they were trying to hide the evidence of humans and dinosaurs living side by side. I thought they were trying to hide the Loch Ness monster. And and I was proven wrong. And there are times when I got some questions wrong on my past exams. But then I would learn from it, move on, and then on the final exam, some of those old questions were on there again. And because they're on there again, I then put the right answer that time. So yeah, I absolutely do learn from my mistakes. And the person who designed the DVD cover, my friend Brandon Johnson, and Brandon Johnson is the same guy like who designed the logos and the character design for my second channel, Eric the Tyrannoceratops. Excuse me. So yeah, and obviously that's me in the middle. We're with my girlfriend hanging on to my leg, her friend on the right, and then right beside me on my left is Aaron Raw.
Nice.
But yeah, I actually have thought about sending Aaron Raw a message on Facebook saying, hey, Aaron, you actually have a cameo in my movie, and and you also made it onto like the front cover of the DVD.
Nice. So,
Would you want a copy?
So what's two species of dinosaurs behind you?
So they're supposed to be T-Rexes, but Brandon gave them 3 fingers instead of 2. But yeah, and there's sauropods in the back. I mean, they're so far away that it's hard to tell what specific sauropod it is. And then, of course, flying above like our pteranodons. But yeah, why he gave him 3 fingers, I have no idea.
So wrapping this up. Yeah, conspiracy theories are bad. Never forget what happened, even years later. Like it's not only is it this year, it's 20th anniversary of 9/11. I think it's like what the 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 11. It's the 70th anniversary of Pearl Harbor in a few months.
And then next year marks 110 years since the Titanic sunk.
Yeah, tragedies.
Oh yeah.
Always remember history. Always remember and try not to repeat it.
Yeah,
learn from history and learn from science.
And that's why that after tragedies happen, they would make changes to things. And when you say learn from science, that's why that the dinosaur hoax conspiracy pisses me off, because that's actually what I'm going to college for. And so pretty much people are calling me a liar. So yeah, so almost an hour. I think we should start to wrap things up now. Do you have any final things to say?
Yeah, but you first. Anything coming up on your channels that you want to talk about, or you're talking about?
Well, because the college content's going to be a lot slower now, but I'll try to get as many as I possibly can. Nothing's really planned, but there is a sequel planned for my movie. There's actually 2 sequels planned. The second movie's planned to come out summer 2022, and then the third movie's planned to come out summer 2023. So yeah, and I guess what else I got going on? There's a screening of the Dinosaur Deniers movie on the 6th at my university. And for Eric the Tyrannoceratops, I do plan on debunking some more young Earth creationist stuff on there. But now that we talk about 9/11, I would like to debunk some 9/11 conspiracy theories too. So
Yeah, like I said before I was air, a lot of things that people deny debunk that you have plenty of topics to make movies out of.
I do. Yes, I have
people that think piss you off.
Oh yeah, definitely.
As for me, hopefully next week I'll have Erica on talking about Gibbons. We've been planning this for a while, but with her new schedule and her now teaching career for a master's degree, so and also I also want to continue with my with Jackson and Mr. Wilford our deep dive in each of the geological periods. We've done the Cambrian, not Cambrian. We've done the Carboniferous. We've done the Cretaceous. Next might be the next one might either be the Permian or the I'm deciding between the Permian and the Devonian for next topic. But yeah, we're going deep dive in each geological period or epoch to talk about.
I will be taking historical geology eventually. So yeah,
another expert not saying you're an expert yet, but another field in the study to do.
Yeah. I'm currently taking a course on minerals. So now I am learning about what are the minerals like that turn the dinosaur bones into rocks.
Yeah.
So yeah, we probably should wrap.
Yeah. Something if you want to check out my Twitch channel, my gaming, check it out too. You want to say your closing catchphrases? You have one?
I'm Eric the Tyrannoceratops, and I'm out. And for my things that piss me off series, I always will say at the very end, have a nice freaking day.
Nice. And as I always say, never stop learning and enjoy the randomness. We'll see y'all next time.
See ya.
Bye.